Hi, this is Allender, and this is how to make a LARP bow. Okay, so what I got here is a simple PVC bow. It's going to have less than 20 pounds of pull. I added a little boffer system, which most of them don't say that. It's used as an arrow rest, because if you use your hand to rest the arrow with, if you grip tighter sometimes than others, it's going to affect if your arrow moves. And then also, the arrow loves to fall off and go down your forearm when you're holding the bow. And it makes people tempted to shoot a bow like that, which is going to greatly kill accuracy. And bows should really never be shot like that, because you got limb distortion, which can snap a limb, damage to your strings. You just want to prolong the life and health. Bow should always be shot upright, feet at a 45-degree angle, and with your wrist pulled out so you don't stripe your inner arm. If you may notice, my inner arm is red from where I had forgot this little tidbit earlier today and striped my arm a little bit. Most LARP bows you see won't have this little boffer system on the front, like I said, just to guide it. So all it really does, I just made sure it was level with my string, so I know where to, I got a little mark so I know where to knock my arrow. The materials we'll be using is PVC pipe. I'm not using Schedule 40. You can. Schedule 40 will increase the draw weight of your bow. And the rope I'm using is a standard, just twisted up rope. There's 3 strands. There's twisted. This one has 1 strand removed. That's all you do is remove one of the strands, pull it apart like so, and you get one complete strand, which will be about the exact same size of an actual bowstring. Okay, so what we need here is we need our PVC pipe. You know, like I said, thin wall, thick wall, it's preference. Thick wall will last longer, but you get more, it's going to have more of a pull weight, draw weight on it. You're going to need I prefer to drill pilot holes with just a small bit, and what this will do is when we cut it, we're going to have to cut a valley in the top of the PVC to allow the string to go. And this will make a good little rounded area and not a sharp V that will cut the string, because this string is under tension. Alright, we're also going to need handy dandy pipe cutters. These you squish onto the PVC. I'm not going to do it with my finger because that would be kind of stupid, but just for showing, you open it up, push it on, rotate, push it on a little more, rotate, push it on, and it breaks off. You can also use a hacksaw, but a hacksaw will leave a jagged edges and will need to be reamed out. All right, and we're also going to need just some Scott's pruning shears or cutters, or again, you can use a hacksaw if you're good enough. Both sides of the ends are going to be having to be cut, so you could technically cut both sides at once, 2 cuts in a V formation, and have it done. However, I can't find a hacksaw blade anywhere in my shop, so I'm just going to use these. And always effervescent rope, standard nylon rope. You might could look at my table and see, I got bits of string everywhere, and old gauze wrappings from where I've cut myself laying everywhere to keep my thumb intact. But this little cotton string is definitely not recommended. Nylon, small nylon, what we call a landscaper's line, is not recommended. It just does not have the tensile strength needed. Whereas rope like this is actually good quality rope. And if you look under my cabinet, I got plenty of rope. So never in short supply. Alrighty, so first things first is on my bow that you seen me shoot at the beginning is actually 60 inches long. Now I'm making this bow for my wife, Morgana, who is actually manning or ladying the camera. And the only problem about her having a 60-inch bow is she's not 60 inches tall. So the bow will be shoved in the ground. So I'm actually going to have to make a 4-foot bow for her. And she's just going to have to get over that fact. She's little, nothing I can do about it. She could always stand on some wooden block or something. Okay, so now I got my PVC pipe cut. You also may notice there's a natural bow in it. Some people prefer to go against the bow. That will actually give you kind of a more recurved looking bow, whereas this I'm more making it look more like a long bow. It will increase your, since you're going past beyond the natural curvature of the PVC pipe, it will increase the pull strength and increase the distance that the bow can be shot and the power that it holds. Whereas for LARPing, you just want to touch them with the arrow, you don't want to pierce them with the arrow. I don't want to be knocking people out with a blunt tip. I just want to let them know that I've nailed them, they're down. So what we've done is I've marked where my way I want to go. I just put a little about 1 inch mark, and I'm just going to drill a hole at the end of these little marks and take these little green shears and cut the black, basically cut the black out. Tried this on one. I actually had the clippers upside down and I busted my pipe. So be careful, your pipe will shatter. Cut it. Alrighty, so I have drilled my holes and cut my notches. I've also measured to the center and then measured up and down to kind of give my wife an idea of where her hand would go. And that's kind of like her little handle. If she wants to come back with some cloth or something, actually make her an actual grip for it, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Actually add a little bit of rigidity because the PVC will bend in the direct center. And even on mine, I can kind of feel it. Sometimes if I overdraw it, that I can feel the PVC pipe bend. So I would actually recommend putting some padding there. Now the bend ain't really nothing to be concerned about. It's not enough. It's just something you can feel it. And it's just weird. And it kind of lets you know, hey, I overdrew it, so I need to back it off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to string it. I have took my twisted up rope and I have undone the ends. Just basically pulled it out, so not just single strand. You can pull tight. And the ends are frayed. I actually recommend doing this before you start pulling it apart. It'll make life a little bit easier. But basically this nylon melts. You know, anybody that's ever worked with nylon rope can tell you that a lighter is your best friend. You just melt a little bit of the end, lick your fingers, kind of press it together, and it'll harden it. And you may have to do it 2-3 times before you get a proper hold on the strands. It'll keep it from fraying out. And it's a good way you can also repair any breaks or any frills it gets in your line. Just quickly heat it up, press it down into your line. It molds right back to it. And I'm not too concerned about this because there's going to be hardly any tension on this actual end. So now we're on to tying and stringing it. Alright, so we make sure you know where your bow is. And since mine's marked a little bit with black, I kind of know. Since my string is going to be drewn like this, I need to start and thread it through that valley. Just simple. It's in there. Give myself enough room to wrap around and to tie. You know, since this is shorter than my last bow, all my string measurement is for my 6-foot bow, and since this is a 4-foot, don't really matter. What I do is, now that I got this, I just start wrapping around, and I go up to this slit, and I just kind of come back down and leave myself some tie room, and just basically tie the rope off, just like so. Yeah, a little bit of teeth work, never hurt anybody. Just to sink it down. Try not to sink it so tight that it's permanent on there, but you don't want it to really slip or give all that much, because you may have to string it up, shoot it a few times before you get the slack out of it, because this stuff will stretch. Alrighty. And the way to do this is you can use your foot, edge of your foot, or whatever. String it like this, and then actually bend the pipe itself and just stretch and pull it on in. It'll hold itself generally. This is what makes just having 2 holes in the pipe, like my earlier design, was such a pain. There was no way for it to hold the string to be able to tie it with. And just simple back wrapping up. And I come back down, tie it off. And that right there is basically it. There's no fancy things. You can take just some standard wax. This is standard paraffin wax. I've been making black candles, so that's the reason it's black. You kind of notice it was a little bit more bowed when I was tying it. Now it's relaxed a lot and not quite as high on brace height, but that really don't matter. You can rub it and it'll give it kind of a aged look. And I'm sure you can buy this if you need to buy it at a store place like Lowe's, Home Depot. We'll carry rope like this. This is just standard rope. You can buy it by the foot. It usually ain't but $1 or $2 by the foot. You can just snip that off. I'm going to snip it down to a manageable size until we get kind of ideal. A proper way to maintenance the bow, you know, the wax will hold the string together and help against fraying and breakage, because arrows will tend to do that. The nocks on them, because depending on what brand of nocks you get, I have a brand of nock that holds so well that when I shoot the arrows, a lot of times the nock stays on my string and the arrow goes flying. So basically this is it. We're just going to need to give it a good test shot just to be on the safe side. I know this is not a LARP tip. This is what they call a field tip. I know if you take one of these and shoot a person in a LARP game, you will probably go to jail. But I just simply pull it back. Right there. Notice after I've shot it, it actually just went down a little bit more. So what I'll just simply do is untie it, bend it back out, restring it again, shoot it a few times, you'll feel it, look at it, and it'll get relaxed. You can even do technical and get measurements, and that way, you know, and this thing has pretty decent penetrating power. That's just about what you can expect from a normal recurve. Normal recurve probably be about down to here, an extra inch. But other than that, that's it. This qualifies for LARPcraft rules, and it'll be for Belagarth and Amp-Guard. I also make swords and stuff. Also, I know Artinian of LARPcraft asked for some pictures of swords. Here's a little video of some. My wife's short sword for short people, my long sword, and my bastard sword. He kind of criticized my friend's bastard sword for being almost too small. It is of legal. This is what I'm more comfortable with the thickness of the padding. But my friend's is just a legal guide. That is it. Peace out.